Good morning, students. Students, today I am going to discuss about one more additional service of microorganisms, and the service is sewage treatment. Students, I want to tell you that sewage means the domestic wastewater which includes various organic contents. So, while we are going to talk about the sewage treatment, I want to tell you that there is only one medium which can treat sewage, and this medium is only and only microorganisms. And basically, these are heterotrophic microorganisms which are naturally present in sewage, can help in the sewage treatment. Now, students, I want to tell you that the sewage treatment occurs into two different stages. The first stage is called primary treatment, which is also referred as physical treatment, while the second stage is called as secondary treatment or biological treatment. So means sewage treatment occurs in two stages: primary treatment or physical treatment. The second one is called secondary treatment or biological treatment. So actually, as the name is suggesting, physical treatment. In physical treatment, the physical we will remove the we will physically remove the particles from the sewage by filtration or sedimentation. While in the second phase, secondary treatment or biological treatment, we will drop water into various tanks, either it is aeration tank or activation tank or anaerobic sludge digester tank, where various biological action will take place with the help of the microorganisms, and the sewage will be treated. We will discuss it in detail later on. This is a picture of sewage treatment plant. Now, initially I am talking about the first stage, primary treatment or physical treatment. As I mentioned earlier that it involves physical removal of the particles from the sewage. Means the big particles which are floating on the sewage can be removed in the first stage, and this stage is called physical treatment. For this treatment we require filtration process or sedimentation process. So initially filtration takes place, means sequential filtration occurs, in which the floating debris which are floating over the sewage can be removed. And in the sedimentation process, basically we are going to remove, or we are going for the sedimentation of grit means soil and small pebbles which are present in the sewage can settle down into the bottom. Okay, and all the solids that are going to settle down in the bottom are referred as primary sludge, and the liquid which is floating over it is called as supernatant form. So beta, basically you have to remember what is primary sludge. After the sedimentation of the sewage in the initial stage or in the primary treatment stage, the material which is going to settle down is called as primary sludge, and the liquid which remains is called the supernatant liquid is called as effluent, EFFLUENT. Now from this sedimentation tank or primary settling tank, the effluent is then passed into a next tank, and it is called as secondary treatment. Now there is a picture, later on I will explain it what happens. Now what happens in the secondary treatment? In the secondary treatment, what happens? The primary effluent means the supernatant liquid over the primary sludge is passed into a large tank, and this tank is called as aeration tank. So in aeration tank, there are various aerobic bacteria are present, okay, which will attack on the organic material which is present in the uh, primary effluent. Now actually what happens, uh, while growing, these microbes consume major part of the organic matter from the effluent, and slowly the biological oxygen demand reduces. Means what is biological oxygen demand, BOD? I am going to tell you that if a water is polluted, then it will contain most of the organic material. Due to the presence of the organic material, it will have very less oxygen, so additionally we have to provide oxygen from outside. So actually if somebody is going to ask you that what is BOD, so you will expand it. BOD means biological oxygen demand, and what is its value? I am going to tell you that the amount of oxygen required which is given from outside to remove all the organic content from 1 liter of water is referred as BOD. Means if we have a water sample, and a water sample has some organic material, some organic content or some organic impurities like sewage, then it will have very less oxygen inside it. So for the growth of the aerobic microorganisms, we have to provide oxygen from outside. So the amount of oxygen which is given to the aerobic bacteria to consume all the organic content from 1 liter of water is referred as BOD. Now, BOD is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. If the BOD is higher, it means water is more polluted. If the BOD is less, that means water is less polluted. So, in the firstly, what happens in the aeration tank with the help of the aerobic bacteria, okay, most of the organic matter is consumed and BOD is reduced. Once BOD of the sewage water is reduced significantly, then the effluent is then passed into a settling tanks. Now from the aeration tank, now in the another tank, now the effluent is passed, and this tank is called as a settling tank. Actually what happens in the settling tank, the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment, means while the aerobic respiration occurs due to the presence of the excess amount of the organic material, a huge amount of the bacteria grows over the aeration tank, which are referred as flocks. Now when it is going to be passed into the next tank, sedimentation tank, slowly this flock starts to settle down, okay, in the sedimentation tank. And now the sludge which is created now, or the sludge which is developed now, it is called as activated sludge. In the primary case it was primary sludge. Now the flocks which are going to settle down are referred as activated sludge. Now now a small part of this activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank because it serves as an inoculum. Inoculum means a source of bacteria. Okay, from the sedimentation tank a small amount of activated sludge is once again pumped back into the aeration tank for the next filtration or next treatment, and the remaining sludge, activated sludge, is then passed into the anaerobic sludge digester tanks, okay, where the anaerobic bacteria are going to digest this sludge, and it will produce a huge amount of methane or hydrogen sulfide or carbon dioxide, or simply we can say that it is helpful in the production of biogas. Now the effluent which remains, now it is very much pure, and we can release it into the water bodies or rivers. Now in this way we observe that the microorganisms are playing very important role in the treatment of water. And our Indian government have one ministry, and the ministry's name of is the ministry is Ministry of Environment and Forest, has initiated two projects, Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. In this plan, the most of the amount of water is primarily previously treated, and then it is going to be released into the water resources. Okay, means initially the sewage is going to be treated under the sewage treatment plant, and then it is discharged into the rivers. So as I mentioned earlier that I will explain the diagram. Here you can see that how the primary treatment occurs. Take a raw sewage, screening is going to take place, it is passing into communicator, then gate chamber are there, then finally the primary sludge is removed out, and the effluent is then passing into the aeration tank. In aeration tank aerobic bacteria are acting on it, okay, and air compressor is there from where the oxygen is provided from outside source. Then next is settling tank. Here the activated sludge is going to be formed. Some of the activated sludge is once again passing into the aeration tank, and the rest one is passing into the anaerobic digester tank where the biogas is produced. So I hope so you understood the topic very well. Still, if you are feeling any difficulty, you can ask me. Once again, I will meet you in the next video. Till then, thank you, bye bye, and have a nice day.